Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
So today we're going to start cutting out the battery box, the old existing plywood that's glassed in around here. And it's going to be a bit of a mess, so Jenny's going to run the shop vac while I'm doing the cutting. So after cutting out the old battery box, this is how much room I've got left to play with.
Plan A for our batteries were the Firefly International Energy AGMs. Earlier this year, we heard about a new technology coming out for AGM batteries called microcell, which is carbon foam. Originally, it was developed by Caterpillar Inc. for their heavy machinery. They sold the patent to Firefly Energy International, who started manufacturing them in India. Supposedly, they recover to full capacity after discharge, and they operate in partial state of charge for days without loss of capacity, which has always been a big downside to regular lead-acid batteries. Once regular lead-acid batteries are discharged too low, some of the original capacity is lost forever. They have a longer cycle life and resistant to sulfation. They were a little more expensive than a lot of other AGMs, but they were a lot less expensive than lithiums. They seem like a great compromise between price and performance. We called the local Firefly vendor and were told they only get them sporadically, they have no idea when the next shipment would be, and they don't have a waiting list we could put our names on. We'd resigned ourselves to ordering them online and paying an arm and a leg for shipping. But again, we couldn't find anyone who had them available. Then in April at the boat show in Richmond, Rich attended Nigel Calder's boat electrical seminar. Nigel was the person who we had originally heard about this great new AGM technology, so we were interested to hear what he had to say. The bottom line is, he said the technology is great, but since the manufacturing process was moved to India, the batteries have had a lot of problems with quality assurance. So we were back to square one.
Right now I'm trying to raise up the elevation of the floor because to get these batteries to all fit in here, I've got to raise the actual floor level based on the height of the batteries. So I've got some scraps of wood. I'm trying to figure out how tall this thing needs to be. These are the little plywood panels that support the bed for the quarter berth. So what I did is set this up kind of like this. I'll cut a new piece of plywood to fit in here and flush and glass this in. And back when we were thinking about Firefly batteries, I made this cardboard box that said Firefly on it. This is almost the exact same dimensions as the Group 27 Battle Borns, the 100 amp lithiums that we're putting in here, except for it's this much shorter and it's actually about 0.4 inches shorter height-wise. So these are going to sit in like this, and they're going to be bounded by little strips of wood all around. So each one has a little slot to fit in, basically. It's about 3/4 of an inch high, 3/4 of an inch wide. And then these will have individual straps to strap them down and secure them to the floor. And it looks like, based on what I've drawn out of 3 different scenarios for these batteries, we're looking at option C on the right hand side, and I can stack them in like that. So there'll be 4 batteries running lengthwise along the boat center line, and then 1 battery, actually, yeah, all 3 of them this way, dink dink dink, and then 1 and 2 out here. Gives us 500 amp hours, nearly complete usable 500 amp hours, because you can drain, supposedly you can drain these batteries down almost 100%. Based on our usage, we've kind of calculated out what our usage is based on our DC amp meter, and that doesn't include AC power coming off the new inverter, but I'm guessing we use about, what, 120, 130 amp hours a day. But I'm going to cut some floor stringers and then make a pattern for the plywood, and then cut my sheet of plywood to make this weird crooked shape to fit the edge of the hull. You can see where the bottom of the hull comes out here. We're in the stern starboard quarter. You know, these are basically the same length as they are wide. They're actually shorter, but two of them stacked together are the same width as this. Yeah, 7 and 7. I mean, it doesn't matter how I stack them, whether I stack them this way. For polarity purposes, it just matters where I stick the screws, you know, for the little cleats. But going positive, 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 negative, 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 negative. Pull one cable off the draw off the positive side. This cable is going to be off the negative side. It's going to be longer.
Does that matter?
A little bit. There's still a little bit of weirdness storage. There'll still be a little bit of room for all the, what do you call it here? Battery switches, cabling, and those big power strips. I may have to build some sort of like a mounting panel down here for all the positive and negative terminal blocks. So what I'm doing here is making a series of marks every 3 inches, or taking a set of measurements every 3 inches along this line. I took a pencil and traced like this, and got me a mark along here. Put a piece of tape on it. Now, for instance, like I'm taking numbers off the back wall at, we'll say, at 3 inches, because that's where I first started. I'm doing them in increments of 3 inches all the way down the hull. So 3 inches parallel off of the front bulkhead wall here. So at 3 inches, if I measure right there, 3 inches, it's 26 and a half. Write that number down. 3 more inches, it's 25 and 3/4. 3 more inches, 25, etc., 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 as it narrows down. And then what I'll do is take these numbers, and it's 27 wide at the widest point up here, where based up on this touches right there. And I'm using 1/2 inch plywood, not this stuff. But basically, 26 3/4, 26, 25 1/4. So as I square off my plywood, cut to 48 inches long is how big the platform for the batteries is, that will progressively narrow down those numbers. Then it's just a matter of connect the dots and cut along it with a jigsaw and back bevel. Hopefully, I think I have enough, give myself enough room to back bevel the shape of the hull on the bottom of the plywood. This will all be glassed and epoxied to the hull and to the stringers that I'm epoxying and glassing to the floor, the original floor. Now I'm going to take those numbers Jenny and I measured yesterday and transfer them to a sheet of plywood to cut the new floor for the battery compartment.
Let's begin now.
Now we just connect the dots.
This is not a drill.
Repeat.
This is not a
So
drill.
here's the platform for this. Actually, it looks pretty close, but I'm still off a little bit on my edges.
Is that all you got?
Let's begin now.
This, and this. And then one. That's it. Just to make the machining of the battery kits.
What up?
Done deal. So now we've got the
Oh, shout.
floor made with the dividers for the batteries. Got five of these 100 amp Battle Borns.
29.
29. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, so now I just glue and screw it to the floor braces that we already installed and seal around the edges. Then we can clean everything up and maybe bilge coat.
So we have to secure the batteries to the bottom of the battery box. So we wanted to have a strap go across each battery. So what we're going to do is we've got these footman loops that we're going to screw to the bottom of the box, and then we've got this buckle with a flat strap. So what we had to do was cut the straps and sew the loops. We took it to an upholstery shop and just had them sew the loops inside. So this footman loop will fit inside here and be attached to the bottom like this. And then we've got the other side. This is the sewing we had done, and we'll put a loop in there, and then it's a long flat strap
And we'll cut it to length.
that we will cut, and then it just slides in here and you strap it down and your batteries are secure.
Yep. Box
Cross-
stitch.
A box stitch?
Yeah. So these were box
Well,
stitched
the
with
box
loop.
stitch, it's not the X. The box stitch is the actual stitch.
Okay. Okay.
That's a different kind of stitch.
And then they added the X.
Yes.
I just asked them to make it look the same as the factory end that came with this little buckle. That's the factory stitch right there. That's the new stitch right there.
Yep. So that's what we're going to do today.
And then I've also got to re-secure all the wires back up after we painted the inside of the platform and inside the compartment here. So I'll put all the wires back up and make it look pretty. The strap comes up through here. They're really long. They're
Is that all you
close.
got?
Let's begin now.
On the length. I mean, they're secure. Isn't it moving? Hey.
And what's that?
This is our new 3,000 watt inverter from Victron Energy. Multi-plus inverter charger combo. It's heavy.
Oh, shout.